Sea of Cortez, all along the border on a Thursday night. It's exciting Imperial Valley League basketball, brought to you live by Valley Sports Network, VSN, with Will Torres, Ron Rubio, along with John Moreno. This is Vic Carrillo doing the play-by-play, and our new color analyst for basketball, Mike Pacheco. But before we start talking about tonight's game, let me thank our sponsors and corporate sponsors that are helping this game come live to you. The IID Imperial Irrigation District, Havens Landscaping, Driscoll Silk Printing, Imperial Public Health, the El Centro Police Department, RDO Equipment Company, Top Notch Barbershop, Letterman and Brothers, Reach Medical Response Service, Ojeda's Industries, and Inner Healthcare. Dom Real Estate, and live stream brought to you by Imperial Valley College. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium, as last year for the league championship between the visiting Central Spartans and the Calexico Bulldogs, a barn burner that went down to the final minute, and Calexico pulled that out to earn the Imperial Valley Championship last year. It's like deja vu as we come back this year. Central comes in with a 4-1 one-loss record in league, Calexico with a 5-1 one-loss record, but that lone defeat of Calexico was a last-minute three-pointer that the Central Spartans pulled out at home, defeating the Calexico Bulldogs. The Spartans later on suffered their first league defeat to the Yellow Jackets from Palo Verde. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to all of you viewing fans, Mike Pacheco.
Hey, thank you, Vic. Hey, nice to be here again. Yeah, I'm glad you said we were here last year. Kind of same scenario. This ball game's up for the league championship, and both teams come in, and so it should be exciting. We still have 5 minutes, close to 5 minutes before the game finishes here for the JV, and we got a full packed house already. So it's going to be standing room only again for this important game between Central and Calexico.
When you reference the crowd, that's right. I think this is the first time that I've been in attendance this year where both sides of the bleachers have been pulled out to accommodate this large crowd. It has the capacity for 1,500 fans, and it looks like they're going to be filled to capacity. So kind of give us a recap of what you remember from last season and how it parlays into tonight's ball game.
You know, the good news for Central is that they're only going to have to face one Tavares kid from Calexico. That's the good news for Central. But last year, as you remember, Vic, both Tavares kids for Calexico just really dominated the game with their quickness, their steals and stuff. And so that's a good thing about Central, that they only have to deal with one of them. But still, it's going to be a barn burner, I think. You know, you mentioned the last game that they both met. It was a three-point ball game. The only thing, that Central didn't is they didn't have their top player, which is Jarrett Martin, at that game, and they'll have him for tonight's game. So Calexico, and I think I talked to Coach Estrada a little bit, and so they probably made some adjustments to handle that for tonight.
Well, the last game that they played, it was a seesaw back-and-forth battle where Calexico went in with a 4-point halftime lead, 26-22. Then El Centro came out offensively in the third quarter, was able to capture the lead, and then it was back and forth until that final shot that nailed the victory for the Central Spartans. When you made reference to the Tavares brothers, there were three. There was Mateo, Aron, and now Andres. Playing, the last one playing for Calexico. They're the grandsons of Arturo and Panchita Burgos Rio Seco. Arturo was from the class of 63, and 55 years ago, Calexico defeated Central to win the Imperial Valley Championship here in Calexico. So yeah. How's that for our history buffs? But anyway, and Aron parlayed his skills, earning a basketball scholarship to an NAIA school in Southern California, La Sierra College, and he's doing pretty well, contributing as a freshman to their varsity team.
Oh no, I think anybody that would have picked him up would have, he's just such a great, quick player, IQ basketball out there, and so it doesn't surprise me that he's helping even as a freshman at that level. So,
when you talk about IQ and skill, the Calexico team plays a high-pressure defense. Tavares is only 5'7", but he's the key point in that defensive unit with steals, rebounds, and he leads the team in assists. But let's flip the tortilla, if you will, and let's talk about Central. Jared Martin, his 21 points per game average was missing in their first encounter. What kind of a factor do you think he'll be tonight?
You know, I talked to one of their assistant coaches, Martin, there, and he was telling me that he's about 90% from that ankle injury that he suffered, last month when they played. So, 90% is better than 0. So I think he's going to make a difference. Like you mentioned, he averages 21 points a game, and so that really is going to be a key on Calexico's side, how to control that.
He's the grandson of the late Al Lefty Martin. And baseball's in his blood, but he's a triple sport star for the Central Spartans, and he's only a sophomore. He excelled last year as a freshman, making all-league in football, basketball, and baseball, and this is only a sophomore season, but it seems like he's been around for ages. Yeah, no, and he has a good bloodline coming from all the way from his father to his grandfather, and not only does he lead in points also, Vic, but he's a top rebounder on the team too, so that's also going to be a major controlling the boards on both ends of the court for Central. So what are the 3 key issues or points for the Central Spartans to pull out a victory tonight? Well, I think they need to, of course, involve Martin as much as they can and get him the touch of the basketballs as often as they can, and then control the board, because Calexico's fast. They play that up-tempo game, and you just don't want to give a team second chances, third chances after missed shots. So I think that's going to be the key to me. And what other players on the Central starting 5 should we be looking out for, or you think we'll be calling their name out pretty frequently tonight? Yeah, Jacob Vargas is another. He's averaging about 16 points a game. He's another key to that. I think he was the one that, with Martin being absent at the last game, he's the one that stepped up and picked up some of the slack, and it was a big difference in that game too. Now, do they share the ball, or is there one ball handler that kind of dishes out to everybody, or is it one of those like the Golden State Warriors where they pass to see who has the best shot, and that's who takes it? Yeah, no, they're surrounded by 3 people, where Central is. Seth Johnson is the other one that we haven't spoken about. He's also a key. He's in double figures. He averages about 12 points a game. And so he's going to be also a key to this. If Martin's still a little linger with that ankle and can't really go, then he's going to have to be the one that step it up with, along with Jacob Vargas. Now, let's talk about Calexico. Who are the key players on the Calexico side of the ball? Well, we start off with Andres Tavares. I mean, that's your number 1 guy. He's their guard, and he makes that team go. So, he's averaging 17 points a game also. So the other one is Cesar Castro is another one that's in double figures. That's going to be a big part of it too. And Carrasco be the 3rd guy. So it's going to be those 3 versus the other top 3 for Central. Now, both teams are evenly matched. They play a similar style of basketball, up-tempo, move the ball around, full-court press, try to capitalize on steals to lead to easy, fast breaks. Turnovers. That's the big key. Games like this, Victor, and I know that big games like this, the turnovers are the key. I think if you can eliminate those turnovers, handle the boards, because that's so important in a game like this, that you don't give your opponent second chances, third chances at it. So I think those are going to be the 2 keys. Well, both teams are certainly going to qualify for the playoffs in their respective divisions, I would believe, based on their rankings in San Diego CIF. Yeah, and I think because Calexico's in Division 1 in the San Diego section, so I think they need to win this game for them to get into the playoffs. Central is in Division 3, so it's a little, and they're ranked a little higher in that division, of course. But a win also would their resume would really go up with a win against Calexico at home. And how are those rankings determined? Is it by student population or by strength of schedule from your previous season? That is correct. It's by strength of schedule. They don't do population or student enrollment anymore. They do by strength of schedule and what you've done the previous years.
So that's why I think Calexico got jumped up to Division I because of last year's successful season that they had.
Well, Calexico has a couple of players that were on that San Diego CIF basketball team right before the pandemic hit in March of 2020, where they went through Division III, won the CIF championship, beating El Capitan High School at what was then Serra High School. Now it's called Canyon Hills High School. They had to be politically correct. They changed the name of the school from Junipero Serra, the Jesuit missionary that established the mission system in California, and that's another conversation for another day. But they didn't get invited to the state tournament. So their last game was the championship game that they won, and they were recognized, but the school had been in shutdown mode, so they got their rings and their championship banner and polo shirts out in the school parking lot. It was a drive-by then. And so then three of these players, Castro and Blaisdell, Carrasco, along with Andres Tavares, were on that team. Tavares is the only one that played serious minutes, and so they're here to provide that leadership. So I believe they know what's at stake for tonight, and playing in front of a packed house on a Thursday night, would that make a difference?
No, it doesn't make a difference if they played Saturday or Friday. This is the big game. They know that. Most of these kids have been here from last year, so they know they have a little taste of this kind of ball game. They might be nervous for the first minute or two, but after that, it's going to be just a great basketball game to watch and to call here for us.
You know, Mike, you spent many years on the sideline coaching a very successful and powerful girls basketball program in Hopeville and elsewhere in the Valley. You know what takes place in the locker room. What does a coach like Stanton and Coach Hugo Estrada for Calexico, what words do they say, and how do they temper their team before they come out of the dressing room?
Yeah, so a big game like this, I'm sure Coach Estrada is emphasizing that make sure that you enjoy this. This will go, long into your after years after high school that you'll remember this. But I think he's going to just go over the strategy that they probably practiced the last couple of days against Central and make sure that they all understand what the game plan is, and then hopefully they execute it. Because once the ball is thrown on the court, it's really up to the players then to execute.
Now, Hugo Estrada, the coach, graduated in 1999, was an All-Valley performer in basketball, played at IVC, then went on to play at an NAIA school. He played with the Soles, the professional basketball team in Mexicali, as a guard, and comes and shares his experience as well as his leadership. And he was a guard. I think it was a perfect choice for this team that plays the kind of style of basketball that the Calexico fans have been used to over the years, an aggressive pressing defense and a fast-paced, fast-break offense whenever the opportunity arises. What would you add to that?
No, I agree. I've watched Calexico, been for a long time, and that's their style. I mean, when you play Calexico, you're in for a track meet. And I think you said it right on. Hugo has that experience as a guard, and he played that style, so he brings that leadership over to his team, and that's why they're successful. That's where the coach to the players, coming over helps a lot.
And what I admire about his coaching ability and style is that some coaches are constantly berating or correcting their players on the court. The players are afraid to make a mistake because a physical mistake where the ball dribbles off their foot or what have you, not a mental mistake, they get jerked, they get pulled to the side. Pretty soon the players are looking at the coach to make sure they're passing it to the right guy or whatever. Hugo is always instructing, always teaching while they're playing. He lets them play through their mistakes to get the feel of the game and the flow. And if he takes him out, it's because he wants to talk to him to correct any type of behavior or anything that they're not seeing out there. And secondly, to give them a breather.
Yeah, no, and you're right. And there's coaches that really, every time they make a mistake, a player out there, they jerk them out. And that doesn't let them play their game. And I think that's where Coach Estrada comes really good for the players, and they like to play for them because they don't have to look over their shoulder after they make a mistake. They know that it's part of the game. Nobody plays a perfect ball game, right? So there are going to be some mistakes made, and you just got to deal with them. And I think he lets them go through or run through those mistakes and learn from them.
And let's talk about the Central side of the ball. And their coach, Dion Stanton, played at Citrus Junior College, is from the Los Angeles area, even though his dad was from the Imperial Valley, I believe, at El Centro. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I remember Coach Stanton helping Imperial down there with the Imperial High School boys basketball. So he has some experience coaching already. This is his first year at Central. They have a 15-9 record. They're on a little bit of a losing streak, Vic. They've lost the last 2 games that they played. One was a non-league game, the latest one against Yuma Catholic. But they did lose up in Palo Verde, like you mentioned earlier. So they got something to turn around, and you don't want to continue with a losing streak. So,
is there ever such thing as a good loss?
As a coach, not a game like this. But I think in the preseason, if you play a top-ranked team and you played really well, you did everything you possibly could, and you lost by a couple, those are good losses, especially if they're ranked higher than you.
Well, anything to prepare for the upcoming playoffs, let alone your league season. And I think it's always been kind of an automatic notion for the coaches and the fans to expect their teams, the Central Spartans or the Calexico Bulldogs, to make it to the playoffs and to see how they'll do. But as you mentioned earlier in your commentary, Calexico may need to win this game tonight. It's not an automatic shoo-in unless they're a league champ or no.
Yeah, they're going to have to win this game to get in, I think. After watching their rankings and going through their max preps, they're going to have to win their league to get in. And then if they win their league, they get a host game. So that's also a good motivation to win that, because then you get a home game in front of your home crowd.
And last year, Calexico did just that, as we were here for a second game last season to present the Calexico Bulldogs and the Bishop Knights that came into Calexico to play. Teams that had similar colors, and it was an exciting game that was decided in the last quarter as well, the last couple closing minutes, and we had the big crowd here.
Yeah, I was telling Coach Huger there that, he's undefeated at home, Vic. So they haven't lost a home game this year. So that's also, a good feeling that they play a lot better at home. And as a coach, you always want to play at home.
Well, that's right. You want to protect the nest.
Yep, exactly.
That type of thing, and have that home court advantage if there is one. How critical or crucial do you think the officiating will be tonight? The referees come from the Imperial Valley High School Officials Association, and they've got to be well conditioned to keep up with this tempo of play.
So we looking at the officials for tonight, Victor, we have one of the best, veteran officials, J.J. Jackson, calling this game, which I think is going to be a big plus. He'll have full control of this game. He's not going to let it get out of hand, and he's going to let them play. He's going to let the players decide who wins this game, and not some calls and refs. So that's good to have him on these kind of games.
You talk about J.J. Jackson. He was a standout basketball player at IVC, All-State, All-American. He parlayed that into a scholarship to the University of Alaska and played there big time, married a local girl and came back and settled his roots here, and he's been a mainstay and a fixture at high school sports, whether it's football or basketball or even officiating softball games as well. So, and who else? We'll have 2 refs tonight then. Yeah,
we'll see who the next one is, but I think I'm sure that the league official picked the best 2 to do this game. This is the most important game tonight, and so they're going to send their best.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, tonight, Valley Sports Network producing the first basketball game of the 2023 season, featuring the visiting Central Spartans coming in with a league record of 4-1, and the hosting Calexico Bulldogs with a 5-1 record. Calexico's lone defeat, 62-59 against Central at the Spartan Arena early in league play in January, and the Spartan lone league loss was to the Palo Verde Yellow Jackets in Blythe. But tonight, it's for all the marbles, if you will. A Calexico victory assures them of a championship. A Spartan victory will put them back in first place.
Yeah, and I think Central has a couple more league games, Victor, but I think this is their big game right here. I think this is what they're shooting for. They need to win this game. Both teams need to win this game, actually. So.
And that might be one of the parting words of advice from Coach Estrada in telling his players, we can't depend on somebody else to decide the championship for us. We have to win it outright. And they do that tonight by defeating the Central Spartans. So we're in for a great ball game, ladies and gentlemen, featuring the Central Spartans and Jared Martin, who's back after a few games out because of a high ankle injury, and Calexico featuring standout guard Andres Tavares. This is play-by-play Vic Carrillo, along with color commentator and game analysis Mike Pacheco. So Mike, any other comments?
No, it's going to be a great game, Vic. I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching their warm-ups a little bit, and it looks like Martin's probably more than 90%. He doesn't show any limp on it, so it's going to be, both teams are at full force. Let's put it that way, and it's going to be a great game.
Well, could you tell us about the other players on the roster for both sides and kind of give us a little player profile on each? You know, starting out with the visiting Central Spartans.
Well, okay, so we've mentioned Jared Martin already a few times. He leads the team in scoring with about 21-point average. But he does have some company. Jacob Vargas, he averages about 16 and a half points a game, and he's the one that kind of took over when Martin wasn't there in that first time that they met, where Central beat Calexico. The other one is Seth Johnson. He's averaging 12 points a game. He was also one that scored a little bit above his average on that first game. So those three are the catalyst for Central. If they're on their game, all three, then it's going to be a tough matchup for Calexico.
Now let's talk about the Calexico side of the ball. You have Carlos Castro, you have Landon Blaisdell, you have Andres Tavares, Aiden Carrasco, along with Gael Monzon. What can you tell us about the Calexico five?
Yeah, so Calexico has 4 kids that are averaging above 10 points in double figures. So they're led by their all-star Andres Tavares with 17 points a game. Carrasco is right behind them, 11, almost 12 points a ball game. Landon Blaisdell is 12 points a game, and then Cesar Castro. And they got a little bit of height too. Both of Castro and Carrasco are 6'1", and so they should also be able to hopefully control the boards on both sides, or at least on the defensive side.
So what do you look for tonight?
Well, I look at and you have to go back to their 2 stars, Calexico's with Tavares, and then Central with Martin. You're going to have to just see which one has the better game, and I think which one leads the team to the victory. They got teammates that'll help them, but it's really the catalyst of them both going,
And I think to control the tempo on the Central side of the ball, that would be Tovar, right? Or Vargas?
Vargas and Tovar, yeah, that's correct.
So I believe Vargas leads the team in assists in the season, and impressively, both teams are a pass-happy team. It's not like where you have a shooter that's already shooting from the parking lot when he gets off the team bus, whereas these players pass the ball around to see who has the better shot, and then they ultimately settle on who has the best shot.
Yeah, very unselfish.
Very unselfish.
Yep. Yeah, so...
And you want to play for a team like that because if you're open...
They're going to find you.
And you're in your shooting zone, they'll find you,
Exactly. Good ball players. Andres will know that. If he has a hot player, one of his teammates really on his game, he's going to find him every time. And so is Martin. So, the funny thing, Victor, I wanted to also mention is not only is Calexico undefeated at home all year long, but Central's a pretty good road team. They're 6-3 on the road. So they're, 65% of the time they win their ball games on the road. So
Well,
one of them's got to give.
You know, they're not unaccustomed to playing in hostile environments.
Yeah.
You have a couple of football players on the Central side, Charlie Sullivan, Jared Martin, etc., that are leaders. They're tough. They bring that charisma and presence on the offense and defensive boards. They're not afraid to mix it up. They're missing Skylar Cook. He was a standout for them last year. He just recently signed a letter of intent to play football and continue his education at the University of New Mexico. And, you know, but other players have stepped up to fill that void, and that's a sign of a good team.
Yep, especially with him missing the ball game, yeah. The other thing, Victor, that I wanted to mention is also the pressure on both teams. You know, you mentioned that they like to do the full court pressure and all that. Is who's going to handle that kind of pressure better than the other team? Turnovers, again, big key on it. I always used to say, if you can, at the end of the game, if you look at your stat sheet and you controlled the boards, if you had more rebounds and less turnovers than your team, 90% of the time you're going to win that game.
Now, we talk about the full court press, tight body checking, the referees letting them play, but there comes a time when they're going to blow the whistle. Your players, you don't want to get them into foul trouble.
Exactly.
If you have to go to the bench, who has the advantage there? Because I've noticed on the stat sheet that the Central Spartans rely on their top 7. You know, their starting 5 and 2 subs, while Calexico kind of spreads it out. So when they do go to the bench, is there a considerable drop-off in talent, or does the level of play still maintain itself?
No, you know what I noticed on that, Victor, and that's a great point that you bring, is Calexico has the majority of their team is seniors, so they have that experience. So in your case, in what you mentioned, if somebody gets in foul trouble, Coach Estrada has enough bench there and experience to put in somebody and keep going with it and not suffer any fallback or anything.
And sometimes that's the viewer or the coach's dilemma. Do you want an experienced senior or a multi-talented sophomore?
As a coach, I wanted that experienced senior all the time. I didn't want to put a sophomore in that kind of situation.
Okay, well, a sophomore like Jared Martin, though, he plays like a senior and beyond. So hopefully he'll be at full strength tonight, so that Imperial Valley fans and everyone else that's watching on VSN has an opportunity to see this young talent display his skills.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. I mean, he's got, like you said, he's a sophomore, and he plays like a senior. And then for Valley fans, you're going to be able to watch him for a few more years as his talent gets, his skills get better and better. So he may be something by the time he's a senior, pretty good darn player.
You know, if the viewing audience has been wondering where the master blaster, the voice of choice, John Moreno Brown is, he's here. He's in attendance, but he also serves as the public address announcer for the Calexico athletic department, the boys and girls basketball teams. So we'll be hearing him shortly as he draws attention to the center of the court in a couple of minutes and introduces the starting 5s for each team.
Yeah, no, that's great to see John here, and he'll do a great job in announcing and getting this crowd fired up. And like I said, you know, we're already kind of having people standing, so it's going to be a standing room event today. There's no more seats that I can see where people can come in and sit down. You
know, when they first opened this facility, Carl Varner Gym, I was a senior in high school when they started building it in '67, and it was supposed to be ready my senior year in '68, but because of some work delays and shortages and what have you, it wasn't ready my senior year. So we played in the Cracker Jack box right behind us, the Linda Godfrey gym.
Yes.
My senior year, the last game of the season in January, we were playing Central. It was on a Friday night, and Carl Varner, who was the superintendent of the Calexico Unified School District, suffered a fatal heart attack that morning. So the game was postponed, not canceled. We played it a week later, but they named in honor of him this gym when they opened their doors for the basketball team for the class of '69. The stage area had seating. These, they had about a 2,500 to 3,000 capacity, and there were some occasions when the gym was filled to capacity for league games against Central or Brawley, and those schools had a good traveling audience with them. But with so much competition now, you have girls and boys soccer going on at the same time as basketball. You have wrestling and other sports and other training that sometimes the kids can't come out to the games, or the home fans, the adults, aren't able to come. But tonight, it seems like they're going back to yesteryear, and they're out here in full force.
Yeah, no, it's a packed house. It's packed, and they're still coming in, Vic. So we'll see how many they let in.
Yeah, people have been giving us dirty looks because you and I have taken up 3 rows here for our equipment and what have you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you see a couple of heads down by our knees or in front of us, don't be dismayed or in shock. It's just that every seat is valuable here. So John Moreno is taken to the mic, but any closing comments?
No, I don't have any, Victor. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I'm anxious to get it going, and I'm sure the crowd is getting ready to start cheering. I think all we're missing is some bag of popcorns to watch this.
That's right, and when they redid the gym floors, they didn't allow any food or drink to come in. But don't worry, I brought us some water so that we can wet our whistle or throat here if we start getting dry mouth.
Yeah. No, every time I come to this gym, it reminds me of the memories that I've had. You know, I had, like you mentioned, a coach there at Hopeville with some of my teams there that we used to come here, and we used to face Kathy Lizarga, which she was a superstar in girls basketball. She went on and played at Irvine and stuff like that. So it always brings back memories for me personally in this gym.
She was a three-point shooting star. I don't know if she made 15 three-pointers in one game or 17, but it was a CIF record at the time. Back in the mid-'80s, right?
Yep, no, it was. She held that record for a long time. Yeah.
Well, John Moreno's in full force as he's making the introductions and getting the crowd ready. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to also thank our corporate sponsors that are making this game possible tonight, leading off with the IID, the Imperial Irrigation District, Havens Landscaping, Driscoll Silk Printing, Imperial County Public Health, the El Centro Police Department, RDO Equipment Company, Top Notch Barbershop, Letterman and Bros, Reach Medical Response Service, Ojeda's Industries, Intercare Healthcare, Dom Real Estate Company, and the live stream is brought to you by Imperial Valley College and Leonard Johnson.
You know, Victor, I was going to say that Calexico averages about 58 points a ball game, 58 and a half. Central averages about 61. So that's how close both teams are offensively. They score about the same as an average, and then defensively they hold their opponents under that. So it's a pretty even match ball game.
So they'll be averaging about 10 to 15 points per quarter, evenly matched, etc. So possessions will count. But will the 35-second shot clock matter?
No, I don't think in this kind of game where they play this fast-paced game that the shot clock is a big factor for them. They're going to want to run up and get that ball up on the hoop. You know, the other thing that you mentioned, going back to that Central Calexico game that happened last month, where Central beat Calexico by a few points, 3 points. You know, Central outscored Calexico in the second half by 10 points on that. So that's something that I think probably Coach Strada is going to worry about the second half scoring and making sure that's covered up.
Well, as John is announcing the starting 5 for the Central Spartans, they'll be going with number 0, Jared Martin, a sophomore. Number 5, Eric Longoria, a senior. Number 10, James Tovar, another sophomore. Number 20, Seth Johnson, a senior. And rounding out the starting 5, number 24, Jacob Vargas, also a senior. So you have a healthy mix of 3 seniors providing that leadership, and then 2 talented sophomores.
Yeah, no, and that's those 3 that I mentioned to you as a key for Central. Those are only starting, and they're going to be going at it here in a minute.
And on the Calexico side of the ball, they'll be going with Carlos Castro, number 2, followed by number 4, Landon Braisdell, number 10, Andres Tavares, number 12, Aiden Carrasco, and rounding out their starting 5, number 31, Gael Monzon.
Yeah, and that's a starting 5 seniors. So that's where we were talking about earlier, Vic, about the experience. So that's probably what coach is wanting, is that experience out there. So he's going to go with his top seniors on this game.
You know, we haven't done this is our first basketball game for the 2023 season, and I don't want to get caught up in the emotion of being a fan or whatever, so just give me an elbow into the ribs, and I won't blow the whistle and call a foul.
There you go.
Or get called for 3 seconds in the lane.
Yep.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll pause as we honor the flag of the United States of America with the playing of the national anthem. From the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez, all along the border on a Thursday night, it's exciting Imperial Valley basketball brought to you by Valley Sports Network, VSN. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium for this rematch for the first place of the Imperial Valley League. This is play-by-play, Vic Carrillo along with color commentator supreme Mike Pacheco. As we get set for the opening tap, it'll be Jared Martin wearing the blue and white Spartan colors, number 0 at the center jump, and he'll be joined by number 31, Gael Monzon. Monzon has a height advantage. Take it from here, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Vic. And yeah, we have two of the good, not only the players here, Vic, but we also have two good coaches. Coach Estrada has experience here with Calexico, been here a while. And then we have a first-year coach for Central with Stanton, but he does have experience from other schools that he's been coaching. So it'd be a pretty good coaching matchup, too, between these two.
No, he's a good coach. He comes in with a 15-9 record and 4-1 in league, and that says a lot. A traveling violation uncalled on number 10 of Central, James Tovar, as he tried to penetrate into the key area. Tight defense provided by number 2, Cesar Castro. So with 7:38 remaining here in the first quarter, Calexico has their first possession of the ball.
So right off the bat, Victor, we see Central in the 2-3 zone. Probably trying to capitulate on the quickness of Tavares, so they're in that zone.
Landon Blaisdell was the one getting that rebound on that missed shot as Tavares in and out on a three-point attempt. Central with a rebound. Tovar bringing the ball up court.
And then Calexico's in a man-to-man defense, Victor, so we'll see how that goes and see who handles Martin on the defensive side.
And that first pass was to Martin, so they're trying to get him into the ball game, into the mix right away.
Right, and that's good coaching. You want to get your top player involved as quickly as possible.
Now, Martin comes in averaging 21 points a game. What does he rely on? Is it using his height, shooting from the outside, or driving like he is right now?
That's what he relies on. His height helps, and then his ability to handle the basketball and drive to the basket.
Well, he hits a baseline baby jumper there for the first 2 points of the ball game as the Spartans draw first blood. And an errant pass by number 12, Aiden Carrasco, to number 4, Landon Blaisdell, goes out of bounds. And so with 6:41 remaining here in the first quarter, Central takes possession, leading 2-0.
Yeah, and Coach Estrada from Calexico just had his team pick him up a little more full court.
And just like that, Jared Martin answers with an elbow-high three-pointer to give the Spartans a 5-0 lead.
So that's going to make it tough, Victor, if he can shoot from the outside also and then be able to drive inside. So that's going to be hard to handle him.
Now you got to respect that. If you get too close on him, he'll drive right by you. And Carlos Castro responds for Calexico with a 3 from the corner. Tavares with the assist on that play. And a backcourt violation called on the Central Spartans as they felt the pressure of Calexico's full court press.
Exactly, and that was a great move by Coach Estrada to pick him up full court and start causing some turnovers, so it's working for him so far.
You know, I think there's a misnomer when they say press or pressure. It's not to create steals, it's to get the other team out of their tempo.
Exactly.
Out of their comfort zone.
Exactly, you want to make it a little rougher for them to come across half court. Put a little pressure.
Calexico rotating the ball side to side, and number 4, Landon Blaisdell, driving and with a floater on the side of the paint, side of the key, scores to tie up the ball game. And Calexico comes up with a steal on that pressure as they double-teamed number 5, Eric Longoria, in the corner. Tavares spinning.
Yeah,
ball deflected out of bounds. A little carelessness or recklessness right there.
Yeah, but
that's his style.
That's it.
You don't want to rein him in.
No, you want to let him loose. It's like a racehorse, Victor. You want to let him go. But great move on Coach Estrada, putting that full court pressure. Two possessions, 2 turnovers already.
Well, the cerebral part of the game is going to be handled beautifully by both coaches, Dion Stanton and Hugo Estrada. Nice
assist.
Nice dish by Torres to Gael Monzon at the baseline, and with a basket, Calexico now leads for the first time 7-5. Shot by number 20, Seth Johnson, caroms off the rim, and Calexico gets the rebound. Tavares bringing the ball up court. Dribble drive penetration, and with a hanger, Tavares hits from the baseline. Calexico now leading by 4 with 4:25 remaining here in the first quarter.
Yeah, jumper by Martin, that was a little short, but they have to get him involved if they're going to stay in this game. Tavares doing a great job at penetrating and dishing.
Calexico passing the ball around quickly out in the perimeter.
Yeah, I think
passing up the good shot for the best shot.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of moving the ball against that central zone, Vic, causing some open shots, and then now here driving, getting fouled.
And number 12, Aiden Carrasco, drives into the paint and gets fouled by the Central Spartans. He'll be at the line shooting 2. 3:53 remaining here in the first quarter. Calexico 9, Central 5. And Carrasco connects on the first of 2, now shooting the second.
I think they're going to keep putting that full court pressure, Calexico, Vic, on Central. I think it really is bothering them a little bit.
As Johnny Moreno used to say, you got to dance with who brung you.
That's right. That's right.
If this is their style, they got to stick with it.
They got to stick with it.
Score 11-5 in favor of Calexico with 3:35 remaining in the first quarter. Central trying to move the ball around against this pesky defense. Martin goes up and is fouled by number 31, Gail Monson, his first personal and first team foul.
So what Central's counter-attack now, Vic, is they're sending some high picks at half court for their guards to get by and then do a pick and roll type of deal, but way on top of the court. And so that's a good move by Coach Stanton there to kind of take that pressure off a little bit off their guards.
Martin unable to convert on the first of two free throws. How important is it to get one out of every three passes to go into the post?
Very important. You always want to do that. You always want to go in and out, you know, especially with a kid like Martin there that needs to touch the ball inside. That was Tavares trying to go in there against the trees a little bit there. So
his shot was blocked by number 10, James Tovar, but that won't deter him because he'll just try a different move next time.
Great assist. Way to find the open guy there.
Cesar Castro, another baseline three-pointer from the corner. Calexico applying the pressure. The ball's taken from Jared Martin by number 4, Landon Blaisdell. Goes in for the layup, misses, and he's fouled on the play.
Again, off of a turnover, Vic. That's 4 turnovers out of the last 5 possessions.
Well, you know, their best offense is their defense. As soon as they make the steal, boom.
Yeah, right off
Jets down court.
Yeah, right off the bat, if you were a fan watching this, you could tell the quickness in Calexico over the Central guards right here. So I think that's going to be a big key the rest of the ball game here.
Conditioning, will that be a factor?
Conditioning, always in a game like this. I don't think, as a coach, you don't want to go too much into the bench. You want to stay with who your hot players are. So if Coach Estrada may stay longer with his starters than normal.
So Blaisdell converts on the second. Calexico 15, Central 6. 2:52 remaining in the first quarter. Martin with the ball, going one-on-one against Gael Mozon, and backs him in and scores as the high-leaping Martin.
I think when they go down there, when he gets the ball that low, Victor, I think they're going to have to double team him down low and get the ball out of his hands.
Was that foul called on number 5 of Central, Eric Longoria? 0, Jared Martin. His first personal, third team foul. So we talked about fouls possibly being a factor in this game because Central doesn't go deep into their bench. At the line shooting 2, Aiden Carrasco, and he converts on the first. Into the ball game for Calexico, number 22, Marco Trejo, substituting for number 31, Gail Monzon. And for the Spartans, number 11, Caleb Flores, in for number 5, Eric Longoria. What can you tell us about Caleb Flores?
So he's a player that comes in and kind of relieves one of their starters, but he's pretty active on the boards, and then he does shoot the outside shot quite a bit. So that's something that they're going to have to, Calexico have to keep an eye on.
Carrasco successful on that second free throw. Calexico 17, the Central Spartans 8. And the ball deflected away from Jared Martin by number 12, Aiden Carrasco. Calexico once again swinging the ball from side to side.
Great job of moving the ball.
Rebound by number 24, Jacob Vargas, but an errant pass across midcourt, intercepted by Calexico, and time is called. So with 1:52 remaining here in the first quarter at Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium, the Bulldogs 17, the Spartans 8.
So big.
Keep talking.
So Victor, yeah, so that's Central's 7th turnover in the first quarter already on that pressure that Calexico's doing. So that's really bothering them, and they continue doing that. That's it's going to be a big key for Calexico.
And you know, they used to refer to those turnovers as a 4-point switch. The 2 points that you lost on offense and the 2 points that you potentially gave to the other team that's on defense that made that steal.
That's correct.
And sometimes those are back breakers.
Exactly. Yeah, and you mentioned the fouls. So far, we're okay. Three fouls on Central and 1 on Calexico. So foul trouble is not going to be an issue so far. I think the coaches are probably trying to give some couple minutes of breather for some of the starters.
And the officiating, you didn't even notice that they're on the court.
Yeah.
They're letting the players play.
Yep. Yeah, and Central staying with that 2-3 zone. So all Calexico is really moving the ball, looking for the open shot, and going from there.
You know, one of the things that's first noticed, though, with Calexico being out on the perimeter of the three-point line from side to side, they don't have anybody crashing the boards on the offensive end. So it's only one player going against 4 Spartans.
Yeah, you get that one shot and that's it. So you got to stay on.
Basket by number 24, Jacob Vargas, with a slick move to get away from the pressure, and on the baseline, leaping for that smooth, silky jump shot. 17-10, Bulldogs.
And that first time Calexico on that trip down there was playing a zone instead of their man. So we'll see if they switch back.
Marco Trejo with that rebound, but unable to successfully convert as he shoots an air ball, and Central recovers. Pass into Martin at the top of the key. And number 20, Seth Johnson, with a three-pointer, cutting into the lead of Calexico. Now it's only a 4-point advantage by the Bulldogs with 35 seconds remaining on another errant pass. Behind the back dribble, and number 20, Seth Johnson, scores again. So it could be the last possession of the first quarter. Calexico hanging on to 17-15 advantage.
Yeah, they're working for the last shot here in the quarter, so hopefully they get it down under 10 and then they'll go at it.
Of what we've seen thus far, nobody's going to run away with this game.
Nope.
In and out at the buzzer. So after one quarter of play, the Calexico Bulldogs 17, the visiting Central Spartans 15.
Reducing energy use during the summer is more important than ever. This summer, IID encourages you to do your part by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, avoiding the use of large appliances between 4 and 9 p.m., and turning off all unnecessary lighting. But there's more. IID provides a number of summer energy-saving opportunities to help you make the most of your energy savings efforts. Check out our tips and energy saving guides at IID.com. Let's work together to stay cool and save energy this summer.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set for the second quarter of action. The Calexico Bulldogs with a narrow 17-15 advantage here at Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium. Tonight's ball game for the Imperial Valley title between the Central Spartans and the Calexico Bulldogs, put forth for you by Valley Sports Network, VSN. We'd like to thank Will Torres and Ron Rubio, along with Justin Matus, to put this game forward, and Jose Alejos from Bulldog Media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Vic Carrillo along with Mike Pacheco providing color commentary. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, great first quarter, tight game. We had a little bit of turnovers on Calexico, causing some turnovers on Central. 7 turnovers for them in the first quarter, and that's why they got this lead on them. But what was funny, I noticed that they went, both teams now went back to a zone on offense. So I don't know if it's a control Calexico's quickness or maybe getting some rest a little bit.
Well, going back in time to the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, when they used to play in barns and they'd put a peach basket in there. This is like a good old-fashioned barn burner.
Yeah.
You know, this game. 2 teams evenly matched. Coast to coast goes number 10 for the James Tovar on that steal, and the score is tied with 7:05 remaining here in the second quarter.
So what I noticed, Vic, is that Calexico's a little bit settling on the outside shooting instead of the penetration and dishing out or going in and causing some fouls to get fouled. But we'll see how it goes.
So what does that tell you about the confidence and perseverance of the Central Spartans, falling behind by 11 in the first quarter and then tying it up here in the opening minute of the second quarter?
That's a mark of a good team, that they don't get rattled even if they're behind. So now they've taken the lead.
Jared Martin starting to show his dominance on the boards, as he's the leading rebounder for the Central Spartans, averaging 7 rebounds a game plus his 21 points. So after a minute and a half or 2 minutes and a half of play, 6:27 remaining here in the first half, what's your take?
Well, you know, it started off, Calexico started off really well with the full court pressure, causing some turnovers and getting some easy baskets. And then both teams went back to a zone, and now they're feeding Martin really inside, and that's they're going to have to double team him inside for Calexico. I don't think they can handle him one-on-one.
Well, as Johnny Moore would say, you have to dance with who brung you.
Yep.
Calexico got away from their full court pressure and their man-to-man defense, and that kind of they took their foot off the pedal, and that kind of let Central get back into the game.
Exactly.
But you have to admire Al Central's confidence and poise in not getting rattled when they fell behind, and they methodically have come back to take the lead, retake the lead.
Right. Now they're in a man-to-man here coming off here, so that'll be interesting. This will give Tavares some freedom here to drive.
Carrasco's shot off the mark, but number 31, Gael Monzon, able to pick up the rebound and put it back in to tie the score at 19-19. Al Central moving the ball around at the top of the key, coming inside to Jared Martin. And a bank shot by number 11, Caleb Flores.
That was a substitute that came in, Victor.
Yeah, to give the Spartans a 2-point advantage here with 5:40 remaining in the second quarter. Central 21, Calexico 19.
Great offensive rebound by Martin.
You know, these guys may be 5'8", 5'9", but they play like they're 6'3", 6'4".
They can jump, can't they?
Yeah, they can jump, and they jump quickly on both sides of the ball.
You know, the other thing that a reason you may go to zone, Vic, is to protect anybody from foul trouble, too. You know, there's a lot of times that you want to protect your key players.
Well, Central has 3 team fouls here in the first half, and Calexico with 1. As Tavares drives, his shot is off the mark. Rebound by number 3, Andres Ramirez, who just came into the game. But he stepped out of bounds on the follow-through, and as a result, the ball turns over to the Central Spartans. So with 4:40 remaining here in the second quarter, Central 21, Calexico 19.
Calexico's out putting a little bit more pressure out there on half court, so. But still with the zone a little bit.
So number 12 for Calexico, Aiden Castro, re-enters the ball game. A well-deserved rest for number 10, Andres Tavares, as Calexico tries to tie this game up, down by 2, 21-19. Moving the ball around the perimeter of the defense. The El Centro defense ball hawking. The rebound knocked away from Gael Monzon.
Foul on Andres Ramirez there over the back, trying to get that rebound.
So Andres Ramirez seeing action here in the second quarter. He was a football standout for the Calexico Bulldogs from his strong safety position, and here he made just a little too much contact.
He looks like a football player, safety.
And that was number 11, Caleb Flores, who had a big game against Calexico last year.
Yep, he's come off the bench and scored 4 quick points for the team, so he's doing his job.
And that gives the Central Spartans a 4-point advantage, 23-19, with 3:45 remaining here in the second quarter. Let's see how Calexico handles the ball without the Tavares in there. The shot attempt by number 10, James Tovar, blocked by Gael. And Calexico can't convert at the other end. Jump ball situation. The possession arrow favors the Central Spartans. So Central will get that ball, but you got to be impressed with the hustle displayed on both sides of this game.
Oh yeah, both teams going at it. And that was a quick, Andres is back on the court, so that was a quick minute and a half rest.
Yeah, you can't, Coach Hugo Estrada can't let this game get out of hand as we see people sneaking into the game here from the side exit. That's at least $6 in admissions that are lost.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see what Calexico is going to do here off the timeout, what strategy Hugo has, Coach Estrada.
Don't block the aisle.
And we'll go from there.
So with 3:25 remaining here in the second quarter, the Central Spartans leading 23-19. So what was being said during the timeout?
I think Coach Estrada was probably relaying to his players to let's change it. Let's go back to our full court man press where we were successful, and I think that's where they ended up at.
And using the left hand there was Jared Martin, that standout sophomore, as he shows why he's averaging 21 points a game. The biggest lead of the game for Central thus far, 25-19.
Yeah, they're going to have to double team him, Victor. They just can't handle him one-on-one.
And Tavares counters with a three-pointer. Cuts that lead in half, 25-22. 2:45 remaining. Here is number 24, yo-yoing up and down the court, Jacob Vargas, their assist leader. Balls off, shots off mark. Rebound by number 2, Cesar Castro, as the ball's brought up with the court quickly by Tavares. Once again, Tavares another three-point attempt, off the mark. Rebound by number 12, Carrasco. Passes out to number 4, Blaisdell. A floater by Tavares doesn't hit. Frustration on his face as once again Martin with the ball. Tavares with a rebound.
They're getting open shots, both teams, Victor. It's just who's going to be able to connect those shots from outside.
Well, you know, that's basketball. You can't be dejected. You know, you're not going to shoot 100% all the time. The good thing is that they're good shots,
yep,
and they're there. So, and there's Tavares. He took 2 quick dribbles to get his rhythm, and then he hits that 15-foot jumper to give Calexico 2 additional points. The score now 25-24, favor of the Central Spartans. And a beautiful left-handed drive on a crossover dribble by number 10, James Tovar for the Spartans. Central back up to a 3-point advantage over the Calexico Bulldogs as we get close to the 1-minute mark. And an underhand scoop a la Seth Curry by number 4, Landon Blaisdell, cuts the lead to 1. 1 minute remaining for the second quarter of action. And another baseline jumper by number 11, Caleb Flores, who's been instant offense here in the second quarter since coming into the game. That's his 6 points that he's put in.
He's come in and offense immediately. And I think that's what he did last game they played each other. So very offensive-minded player.
And number 2, Cesar Castro with a 3-pointer. And we're all tied up with 25 seconds remaining as 29-29 as Tovar bringing the ball up. A beautiful drive by Jared Smith, but to no avail. The ball shot a little too hard and it caroms out of the rim.
Got 6 seconds left. Oh.
A steal by number 10, Tovar. And you don't see that very often. And after 2 outstanding quarters of play, the Spartans, with that steal by Tovar, take a 2-point lead going into the half.
Yeah, great half. Yeah, it should have been tied actually, but they had that steal there at the last 5 seconds of the game from Andres, and Central got the go-ahead basket. So
keep going.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good, and the good thing about this is that nobody's in foul trouble. All 5 starters are going to be able to finish this game out. Looks like it, because there's only been 5 team fouls for both teams called. So the refs are letting them play. So that's a great sign.
Well, it's fast-paced action. We're running out of breath because it's hard to keep up with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed the first 2 quarters of action as we're trying to call it as we see it without over-talking, yet letting you enjoy the ball game. But it is a thriller, and I think it shows in the emotion of our voices.
Yeah, great game so far, Vic. Just what we thought it was going to be. It's going to come down to the wire, I think, and we'll see which team can stand that pressure in the second half.
So, halftime strategy. What would the coaches be talking to both their respective teams?
Well, I think both coaches got to be happy so far with what they've done. I think Central was a little, probably that pressure that Calexico put in the first quarter that caused 5, 6, 7 turnovers. I think they're going to try to talk about that in case Calexico comes back with that kind of pressure, and then Central go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more in a minute on Valley Sports Network.
Whether you're looking to purchase or sell, your next home awaits. Give the Dom team a call. With over 50 years of experience and over 100 years in the Imperial Valley, Andy and Doug can help you find the right home at the right price fast. Visit us online at www.thedomteam.com and let Andrew and Doug find the perfect home for you. Call today, 760-337-8600.
We just moved, so there's millions of...
Valley is in bloom, over 9 acres. When we started, we grew 1/4 of an acre.
Now I'm taking on new projects on the regular.
We always dreamed of having this property, so...
I want to make my yard look as beautiful as...
Largemouth bass?
Yep.
We've got tons of them, don't we, buddy?
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours?
Visit us online at rdoequipment.com or contact your local RDO for in-stock availability.
Cada día, el Distrito de Irrigación de Imperial, su entidad pública, ha proporcionado servicio de energía confiable y económico a sus clientes en los valles de Imperial y Coachella. Comparado con otros proveedores de energía, los clientes residenciales, comerciales y gubernamentales del IID ahorran hasta un 50% en sus facturas. Es porque el IID está comprometido a más que solo proporcionar energía. El IID está comprometido con usted. IID, donde los clientes siempre son primero.
At Burgers and Beer, our customers are like family. Let's hear what a few of them have to say about us.
We're here at Burgers and Beer with the best burgers in town.
We get to sit together and enjoy the great food.
I like from Burgers and Beer is in the lemonade.
For the fresh iced tea, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
It was wonderful, very fast, very efficient.
I love the great food and family environment.
I love the burgers and the customer service.
So come and see us and find out for yourself at Burgers and Beer.
Day in and day out, your publicly owned Imperial Irrigation District proudly delivers low-cost, reliable energy service to its customers in the Imperial and Coachella valleys. When compared to other power providers, IID's residential, commercial, and governmental customers all save up to 50% on their monthly energy bills. That's because IID is committed to more than just delivering power. IID is committed to you. IID, where customers always come first.
Reducir el uso de energía durante el verano es más importante que nunca. Este verano, IID le anima a hacer su parte al ajustar su termostato a 78 grados o más, evitar usar electrodomésticos principales de 4 a 9 p.m. y apagar luces innecesarias. Pero aún hay más. IID ofrece un número de oportunidades de ahorro de energía. Conozca nuestros consejos de ahorro de energía en iid.com. Trabajemos juntos para estar frescos y para ahorrar energía este verano. Reducing energy use during the summer is more important than ever. This summer, IID encourages you to do your part by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, avoiding the use of large appliances between 4 and 9 p.m., and turning off all unnecessary lighting. But there's more. IID provides a number of summer energy-saving opportunities to help you make the most of your energy savings efforts.
Check out our tips and energy saving guides at IID.com. Let's work together to stay cool and save energy this summer.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Carl Varno Memorial Gymnasium, a barn burner here for the Imperial Valley Basketball Championship between the visiting Central Spartans and the hosting Calexico Bulldogs. The halftime score after 2 exciting quarters of play, 31-29, as the lead seesawed back and forth as both teams enjoyed at least a 6-point cushion. But to provide us with a statistical update is Mike Pacheco, our color analyst.
Thank you, Vic. Yeah, I'll run through the first half scoring for El Centro. Jared Martin led the team with 12 points. James Tovar with 6. Caleb Flores with 6. Seth Johnson with 5. And Jacob Vargas with 2. For Calexico, they were led by Andres Tavares, their leaders, with 7. Andres Ramirez with 6. And Landon Basedale by 5. And Carazo 4 and Mazum 4.
Well, Caleb Flores starting for the Central Spartans here in the third quarter, being rewarded for his standout play in the second quarter as he scored 6 points to give the Spartans the tie and then the lead and provide that momentum and impetus for them to play a comeback second quarter that put them in at the lead 31-29 after 2 quarters of play.
Yeah, you know, first half, Victor, both teams had a lead. You know, Calexico started off strong, had a 10, 11-point lead, and then Central came back and recovered from that, and then they had a 6-point lead, and now it's down to a 2-point lead. So great.
Well, you know, the first game they played at the Spartan Arena in early January was typical of this game. Back and forth, and it was decided in the last seconds on a 3-point shot, giving the Spartans a victory. As Flores' shot goes awry and Tavares with a rebound. As Calexico whipping the ball back and forth, feed into Gael Monzon. The ball deflected as he was trying to go in for a layup. Out of bounds Calexico, and Andres Tavares will be bringing it in. See what the out of bounds play. You know, some coaches like to coach out of bounds plays to score, others just to bring the ball in. Which were you?
I wanted to score off an out of bounds. I think you always want to get a shot on the clock and not just settle for getting the ball in. So that was my preference. But you're right. Some coaches just want to get the ball in and run something. But
well, that 3-point shot from the corner by Tavares, way off the mark, doesn't draw iron, and as a result, Central gets the ball, moves the ball up court quickly, and Flores, Caleb, as his first name, number 11, fouled on the act of shooting. He'll be at the line shooting too.
Yeah, so it says right here this player's come off the bench, Victor, and he's scored some offense pretty quick. So he's a good offensive player for Central, and he's contributing quite a bit.
Well, Calexico in the first minute coming up with 2 fouls right away.
Yeah, and they just missed both free throws, but they get the offensive rebound, and they're looking to drive, and he just scored a layup. So that was Jacob scoring again. So Central's back in the 2-3 zone.
So Jacob Martin was the leading scorer in the first half. How many points did he put up?
Yeah, 12 points in the first half to lead Central with scoring.
So he's one of the main cogs in the Central offense. They've missed him the last 3 games because of that high ankle sprain, but he doesn't seem to be favoring it tonight.
No, he's on track for his average of 21 points a game, so he's on track. So.
And that was number 20, Seth Johnson, hitting that long distance from downtown 3-point play, giving the Spartans their biggest lead in the game, 36-29, a 7-point cushion as time is called with 6:11 remaining.
Yeah, Coach Estrada has a dilemma here. If he goes man-to-man, then they feed the ball to Martin inside, and they can't handle him one-on-one. If he goes to a zone, then you have Seth Johnson shooting threes and Flores. So, you know, what are you going to pick? What are you going to do?
What's the defense his team feels most comfortable with?
Exactly.
The man-to-man.
Well,
and they just have to rely on that. and they're going to have to rotate players on Martin, in my opinion, and they're going to have to step up. But this way you can isolate who's having trouble, and then you can replace them accordingly.
Yeah, no, and Victor, you've been a coach before and player and all that, and you know strategies and stuff. So yeah, I would think that if they go man to man and they dump it into Martin, then you double team him low and try to get some turnovers. But then you still have to rotate with the other 4 to cover the shots.
And if Martin's going to get his 21, make him earn them, but don't let the other guys beat you.
That's another philosophy a lot of coaches have, is let him have his points, but shut everybody else down. So.
Well, we'll see with 6:11 remaining in the third quarter as the drama plays out. This is like a soap opera or a telenovela, as they will.
Exactly.
So Tavares dribbling the ball up court, being guarded by his counterpart, number 10, James Tovar. Pressure being put. Tavares with a crossover dribble. Can't bring the ball in to the key. 18 seconds remaining on the shot clock as Carrasco drives, and Carrasco scores on a right-handed drive to the hoop. Calexico cuts into the 7-point lead. Martin tries the counter. He's off the mark, and Carrasco with a rebound, and he brings it up, passing it out quickly to Tovar. Tovar back to Carrasco. The ball's off the mark. Ball off the foot of Martin of Central. Calexico will take off the ball underneath their basket. In to bring in number 2, Cesar Castro, and getting into shooting position is Tavares. Tavares to Blaisdell. And Castro's baseline jumper, or 3-point attempt, slightly off the mark, but the rebound comes to Calexico out of bounds. So Calexico, once again with 5:20 remaining, will be bringing the ball out from underneath their basket. Calexico settling their offense, under 30 seconds remaining on the shot clock, and a hanging drive by Carrasco, interrupted by the leaping Martin, and as a result, not having a clear view of the basket, Martin drives, ball's off, there's a scrum at the bottom of the basket. Calexico comes up with a rebound, quickly whipping it out, pass on the fast break, and number 4, Blaisdell scores as that ball never hit the floor, back and forth passing, and Calexico comes up with another steal.
That was a great assist by Andres on that bounce pass to the flying player for the layup.
Andres Tavares feeding Landon Blaisdell. Tavares, the leading assist man for Calexico, averaging 6.6 assists per game.
That's correct.
Both teams very unselfish. So Calexico applying that man-to-man pressure. And the steal by number 4, Blaisdell. He feeds Tavares, and Tavares takes it to the house and scores. 36-35 Calexico, putting pressure on Martin, but Martin drives anyway with 2 guys on him, gets his rebound, and he's like a man among boys. Yep. They can't stop him once he gets inside.
Yeah, he hits the boards really well, follows his shot, excellent.
Well, he has a good length, excellent leaping ability, and a natural nose for the ball.
Great ball movement by Calexico. Had an open shot, looked good.
Speaking about Martin, he's just a basketball player. Good, he's a natural.
Yeah. Oh, nice pass.
Nice pass from number 24, Jacob Vargas, the leading assist man for the Spartans on this season, as he feeds Martin underneath for another basket.
Great
nice
pass.
You got to use that backboard. We've always taught our players when they're right in front of the basket, unless you're going to dunk it, step aside and create an angle and use the backboard.
Hit that little square, right?
Yeah, that's why they drew that square on the glass backboard.
That's right. That's right.
As a guide.
Gonna have a timeout by Central here.
So in for Calexico, number 5, Benjamin Rodriguez, with 3:09 remaining here in the third quarter, seeing his first time of action. So let's see what kind of a contribution he can make coming off the bench. Calexico down 40-35 with 3:09 remaining here in the third quarter. Your thoughts thus far?
You know, they both teams, I thought they were going to make some more adjustments, but they're both kind of still playing that same zone. And but maybe the coaches are waiting for the fourth quarter to make some kind of changes. But again, you know, I said before, Vic, Calexico has a tough time to decide whether to double team Martin underneath or cover, not giving Seth Johnson any open threes out there, because he seems to be on his shooting game for Central.
Well, when you have a man-to-man defense, it's either guard your man only or guard the ball, where you point the pistols and it's a rotating man-to-man. So whoever has the ball, you have two people capable of defending him. One close to the basket, who might be playing 2 passes off the ball, and the one that has that responsibility of guarding him personally.
Yeah, exactly. So Calexico is going to be taken out of bounds here on the sideline, and we'll see what kind of play they have, or they're just going to try to get it in and work on Central zone here.
I should have taken a water break during that break in the action.
They do a great job of moving the ball against the zone. It's just that they need to hit some of those shots to make that zone come out of it.
That shot by Carrasco blocked by Martin, and Martin going coast to coast with a dipsy-do over and under, and he scores on that shot and fouled on the play. So as they say on the playground, and one.
And one, yeah. I think it was fouled by Landon.
Landon Blaisdell, number 4. So Jared, I've been calling him Jacob, it's Jared Martin.
Jared Martin, yep. Well, he doesn't convert on the 3-point play, so.
But it's still a 7-point cushion for the Spartans here with 2:40 remaining in the third quarter. In and out, heartbreak by number 5, Benjamin Rodriguez. Martin with a rebound, taking the ball up the length of the court, feeding out to number 20. Seth Johnson, and Johnson hits another 3. 10-point lead for the Spartans, 45-35.
That was a great play by Jared.
The largest lead of the ball game. Calexico's Carrasco tries to counter, but his shot is short, and as a result, the Spartans come up with a rebound. Calexico putting on pressure, number 24 for the Spartans. Jacob Vargas drives, doesn't get it. And number 2 for Calexico, Cesar Castro with a rebound. A holding call.
Foul on Martin, Jared Martin.
On Jared Martin. That's the first team foul of the second half.
Yeah, so both teams are still in pretty good shape as far as fouls, Victor, so there shouldn't be a factor here.
Nice feed. And by number 4, Landon Blaisdell. And number 12, Aiden Carrasco converts. Calexico 37, Spartans 45. 3-point attempt by number 20, Johnson. Off the mark. Number 2, Cesar Castro with a rebound. Ball knocked out of bounds by number 11, Caleb Flores, Calexico's ball.
I don't know if you noticed Seth Johnson shooting those threes. Doesn't he have a perfect form and everything follow through? Look, he has a beautiful shot.
A beautiful shot on that rotation.
Yep, exactly.
Drive by Tavares, in and out. Carrasco with a rebound, gets fouled on the putback by number 11, Caleb Flores. At the line shooting 2 will be number 12, Aiden Carrasco.
First personal, second team foul.
They got that 8-point lead here. Central Calexico has to start chipping at it a little bit. They don't want to get down any further.
Right, you don't have 10-point shots.
Exactly.
So Carrasco converts on the first, as we have a substitution for Central, and that's number 12, DiMaggio Wyatt.
Yeah, and this is a good time. They've taken Martin out of the ball game, Central, probably to give him a minute rest since the quarter. I think this will be a good time for Calexico to make a little run here.
Well, Wyatt, a highly talented sophomore, coming in, and this will give him time to get some experience as he gets the rebound, and a left-handed putback by Wyatt, and DiMaggio, just like that, makes his presence felt. Spartans 47, Bulldogs 38. As Tavares' floater off the mark, a steal by Calexico, and a foul called on number 30, Nick Rodriguez, who also came into the ball game. So a little back and forth, not sloppy, but players trying to make too much happen too soon.
Well, I think that both coaches are trying to take advantage of the just about a minute left in the less than a minute in the quarter, trying to get their starters a little bit of rest before they start the fourth quarter, and you can kind of see they're off rhythm now with some of the subs coming in.
Gael Monzon with that putback after a beautiful drive by Cesar Castro was hounded by DiMaggio Wyatt, and his shot was off the mark. 20 seconds remaining in the 47 Central. A steal, Calexico with the ball, fast breaking. And a foul called on number 12, DiMaggio Wyatt, on the streaking number 4, Landon Blasdell, off that steal.
Landon does a good job of taking it to the hole. He has those long strides that and he has that nice touch at the end.
Well, rapidly recovering Wyatt, I mean, he's got that long stride. He made up for a long distance in a short time.
Yeah.
So Blaisdell converts on the first of 2 free throws, cutting in to the advantage. It's now 6 points, 47-41, Calexico down. 12.8 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
I don't know about you, but Landon reminds me of a pretty good track star. He probably runs track or something, does jump.
The pass stolen by number 12, DiMaggio Wyatt, as he gets the ball back, running the length of the court, and right before the buzzer, Wyatt scores, giving Central an 8-point lead, 49-41. So take it away, Mike Pacheco.
Yeah, you know, there the last couple of minutes, both teams made some substitutions, Calexico and El Centro, and I think they just got off rhythm. There was quite a bit of turnovers, a little bit of sloppy play, and then Central kind of had an advantage there the last 2 baskets to take the 8-point lead at the end of the third quarter.
But sometimes when you go to the bench, the level of play drops off. For the Central side of the ball, it certainly didn't.
It didn't for them.
As Wyatt, along with Longoria and
well, Tovar came back in there. I mean, not Tovar, but Flores came in there too.
But so. Wyatt, in the brief 2.5 minutes that they were giving Jared Martin a rest, you couldn't tell the difference. Wyatt made his presence felt. Yeah. Blocking shots, getting rebounds, and scoring at the opposite end of the court, running the fast break.
Yeah, Central took advantage of that, and their subs came in and were scoring where Calexico didn't. Their subs came in and didn't have it. So Central's still sticking with their subs, so they haven't put some of their starters back. So they may give them a little bit of extra.
Well, this has to bode well for a young sophomore like DiMaggio Wyatt to get these quality minutes, and he's putting in a quality performance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm sure Coach Dion Scanton will take notice of that for the upcoming games.
Oh, yeah, great experience for him. Big game like this, yeah, and he's contributing, so he's got to feel good, and I think the coaches should be real happy with his performance.
He's got that lanky build of James Watson, a Spartan great back in 67, 68. And that was number 24, Jacob Vargas, fouled on that shot by number 12, Carrasco. He has a chance to convert to make it a 3-point play.
Yeah, Vic, and this if he makes this free throw, it's going to be an 11-point lead for El Centro in fourth quarter. This is critical time for Calexico here to not get any further.
Well, you know, they're not playing set basketball where possessions are critical because the pace is back and forth, there's steals, and Calexico scores quickly, as well as the Spartans. Foul called on number 30. Nick Rodriguez, a blocking foul on the penetrating Andres Taveras, 15 foul. Calexico 1 foul away from the 1-and-1. And free throws could be a factor. A drive, and he misses. That's number 4, Landon Blaisdell, as he gets hacked on the arm by number 12. Number 11, Jacob Caleb Flores. Or was DiMaggio White, correction, number 12.
Oh, yeah. You know, Landon does a great job of penetrating. I like the way he really penetrates and hits the defender, bumps him, and then tries to finish.
Well, he converts on the first of 2 free throws. It's now a 9-point game for Calexico. As you mentioned, every possession counts. And he converts on the second. 43-51, an 8-point disadvantage for Calexico. Central with the lead.
Yeah, Calexico needs to have a couple of stops here and then able to score to get this down to a manageable 6-point game, something where they can make a run at it late in the game.
Baseline jumper by number 24, Jacob Vargas. Extending the lead to 10 points for the Spartans. And Tavares' penetration drive blocked by DiMaggio Wyatt. El Centro with the ball. Number 11, Caleb Flores, driving wildly to the basket. Doesn't get the call, losing the ball out of bounds. And so Calexico trying to bring it up court and catch the Spartans by surprise as they move the ball around quickly. Carrasco with the ball here in the corner. Castro to Tavares. Tavares penetrates over the outstretched DiMaggio Wyatt and scores. 45-53 Central.
Looks like Central's ready to put back their 3 starters, Vic, so this should, next time, dead ball, they'll be back in, Martin and that gang.
They've sat out 5 minutes at least. Could that be a factor, particularly with the tender ankle of Jared Martin?
You know, I don't think so. I think he's been moving really well, so I don't think it's bothered him at all.
So Martin comes back into the game. Seth Johnson comes back into the game. And number 10, James Tovar, back into the game.
Vic, I think Central's coach should be happy with the substituting with DiMaggio and then Nick Rodriguez that came in and contribute.
Well, they extended the Spartan lead with some of the reserves in there. So the coach has to be happy about that. Nobody in for Calexico on the boards, and as a result, number 24, Jacob Vargas, gets the uncontested rebound. Shoots an errant 3-point shot, no good, and Tavares bringing the ball up after Carrasco sweeps the boards. Pass out to number 2, Castro, off the mark. Martin with a rebound. Martin's already used up his dribble, passes it out to number 11, Flores. Flores to Johnson, Johnson back to Vargas, and Seth Johnson inadvertently stepped out of bounds when he caught that pass, when he jumped to catch that pass, and as a result, the officials alertly making the call. So Calexico will get that possession on the turnover. 5:16 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Spartans 53, the Bulldogs 45.
Yeah, they're holding on to that 8-point lead, Vic. Central is, and 5 minutes left in the ball game. You're going to have to. Calexico's got to make a move sooner or later here.
Well, Calexico hasn't been as consistent with their outside shooting as they were when they started the first quarter. There again, they miss on a 3-point attempt, and no one's crashing the boards.
No, they're Central's limiting them to that one shot, and that's hurting them.
Well, Calexico, when they started the game and they opened up with that 8-point lead, they were penetrating, moving the ball around, and driving the paint. No one there for the challenge for the rebound.
Nobody close for the offensive rebound.
Caleb Flores with the board. Once again, Calexico steals the ball, but if they can't convert at the offensive end, it's all to no avail. And
get offensive rebound.
An offensive foul called on Carrasco. Aiden. Timeout called by Calexico as tempers are starting to flare. Players are losing their composure. Wisely, Hugo Estrada calls a timeout to get the players to regroup here at the bench.
Yeah, I think he called a good timeout. I think he's going to have to change his little strategy here, maybe go to full court press or something to cause some easy layups, some easy baskets for him, because the outside shooting's not working for them. They're not hitting the offensive board, so and they're missing more than they're making. So that's
now the history between these two schools in the last 2 seasons playing each other is an 8-point lead insurmountable.
Well, you know, the last game they played, Calexico had a big lead there, and then Central came back and took it. So I mean, it could be done. It's going to get harder if they're not hitting their outside shots.
So everything has to fall in place. That outside shooting coupled with their turnovers, and they've got to score every time they come down, because they've been missing a lot of layups as well.
Yep.
The layups have been challenged, but you know, those are usually gimmies.
Yep.
You've got to make those.
Yep. They need to hit the boards a little bit on the offensive side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't ask Gael Monzon to go against 4 opposing rebounders and expect to come up with a ball, particularly when he gets boxed out. So the lone defender putting on pressure at half court is Tavares. Now he's joined by number 4, Blaisdell. El Centro still confidently passing the ball around. And another pass deflected away from. And another missed layup by Tavares as he altered his shot. He should have just gone up with a left hand and not worried about the block. As a result, he'll be at the line to shoot 2, but it could have been a 3-point play.
Yeah, fouled by Jacob Vargas there for Central.
And right now, every point counts, or matters, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tavares converts on the first of 2 shots. But you know, this was more than what we expected, our first game of the season, and this playoff atmosphere.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's really like a playoff game.
And Tavares doesn't convert on the second. Vargas with the rebound. Caleb Flores dribbles the ball up court and passes to number 10, James Tovar. Tovar with a drive, and he gets that baby bounce and friendly rim to convert for him. And the lead is now 55-46 in favor of the Spartans. Calexico is missing too many shots, and you're not going to get back into the ball game when you miss those inside shots. Shot blocked by Gael Monzon by number 10, James Tovar. Tavares with a scoop, and he scores. He thought he was fouled there by Caleb Flores, but the refs wisely hold their whistle.
I thought he did. I thought he got bumped too on the way up. There's Seth Johnson with that 3-pointer.
Seth Johnson with ice in his blood, in his veins, calmly hits another 3-point attempt to silence the Calexico crowd.
Yeah.
And Tavares stepping out of bounds as he puts on a dribbling exhibition here to beat his man to get to the basket, but
stepped out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds.
So we got a timeout.
So with 2:43 remaining here in an exciting basketball game put on to you by the Imperial Valley League, Central and Calexico, longtime rivals going back over 100 years in their history. Central leading 58-48, a 10-point lead. This is Vic Carrillo, your play-by-play person, along with Supreme Color Analyst Mike Pacheco.
So yeah, I think on this timeout, Central called Vic. I think the coaches are going to relate to them. Let's take some time off the clock. I think you're up by 10, 2:43 left. You got a 35-second shot clock. Let's milk it a little bit, and then see if we can bring the victory home. But then on this other side with Calexico, they got to almost do a full court pressure here, try to cause some turnovers, because 10-point lead with 2:43, that's a tough thing to come by if you're not, especially if you're not hitting your outside shots and missing some layups too.
And what would you say as a coach like Hugo Estrada? Listen, what's our trademark? Full court pressure. Defense, taking the ball away, scoring on layups, change the momentum, put the other team on their heels. That's what they have to do. 2:43, still plenty of time to score, to get to 10 points, to tie this up and maybe take it into overtime. But they have to convert every time they come down the court on the offensive end and shoot. It's frustrating when you're missing those inside baskets, inside the paint, 2 or 3 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, and you can see they're picking them up full court now, man to man. So that was a good call by. Almost a turnover there. So that would have been a good turnover for them.
This is where a coach is telling his players, you have to snap that ball. Bullet passes. The lollipop passes aren't going to work.
I call them grandma passes. I used to tell my kids, don't make grandma passes, please.
Hey, I had an extreme fondness for my grandmother. I would never be critical of her. And so the crowd on both sides of the floor
They're getting into it,
showing their school spirit as Martin drives, he throws an elbow, and travels. I would have called that a push-up, but
either way, it's a turnover.
J.J. Jackson's closer to the action, and you've got to respect his call.
Yep. Central still in that zone, and Calexico's going to pass it around. Look for that three.
It's kind of rushed. Martin with a rebound. Passes out to number 10, James Tovar, the leading assist man for the Spartans. Up to Caleb Flores. Ball batted out of bounds by number 3, Andres Ramirez.
Good thing he did that because he was driving for a layup.
Yeah. Ramirez, known for his defensive prowess, showing flashes of brilliance there on the defensive end. Spartans bringing the ball out underneath their basket. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Errant pass hitting the side of the backboard. Calexico brings the ball up court. The clock is now a factor. And
Martin.
Jared Martin called with a block there on the driving Bladesdell. Basket good and one.
Yep, and that was this Martin's third foul.
Well, you got to leave them in there.
Oh, yeah. With a minute 51.
You just tell them, don't pick up any more fouls.
Yep.
Particularly with that lead they have.
Yep.
And so the three-point play is converted by Bladesdell. 58-51, down by 7. A minute 40 remaining here in the last quarter. Martin with the ball. Coolly and calmly dribbling the ball across the 10-second line. And now Tovar, their point guard, taking over the ball handling duties. And Martin, showing signs of a seasoned veteran, drives to the hoop over 2 Calexico players and scores as Tavares comes back and scores. And timeout called with 1:17 remaining. Here in the fourth quarter, 60 Central, Bulldogs 53.
7-point lead for Central, 1 minute, 17 seconds. Calexico needs to shut them down the rest of the time here, and then they can just score. It's doable. It's 3 possessions. So,
well, the name of the game is score. Put the ball in the hoop. If you can't score, it doesn't matter how many shot attempts you have. You know, they may look good from a spectator's point of view, but on the stat sheet, they show up as a missed shot, 0 points.
Exactly. So I think they're going to, if I was, coaching here, I think they may want to do a full court trapping, something to try to get a quick turnover here. They just can't let Central use the 35-second shot clock all the way down.
So to lure the Spartan offense into the corners, they want to deny the middle of the floor, say the free throw line extended, the paint area, to get them to think that they have a safety outlet in the corners, and that's where you trap.
That's where you trap, yeah. Makes it hard for them to get that pass out of there, or easier for the defense to steal those and go the other.
A trap consisting of 2 defenders and utilizing the sideline out of bounds marker as
the third one.
A third defender.
Exactly.
So you cut down his space to operate.
Yep.
Seth Johnson will be bringing it in. Now Central with a full court offense. The lineup forward, ball brought into Tovar. Tovar's going to try to attack the press by himself, but he gives it to Martin. Martin feeds Caleb Flores, and Caleb, I don't think he has, pause on his gear shift as he drives to the basket and draws the foul.
First person at the line shooting 2.
Yeah, I thought Coach Strada is kind of questioning that kind of call there a little bit. Wasn't much contact on that play.
So Caleb Flores misses on the first of 2 shots as he was fouled in the act of shooting. The Bulldog crowd trying to distract him, and they do.
Missed both of them, that's good.
The rebound, Andres Ramirez fires it out quickly. Up the court, Tavares has it, he drives, misses with the left hand. Rebound by Jared Martin. He must have double figures in rebounds, well as double figures in points. Baseball pass, intercepted by number 4, Blaisdell. That's at least his 5th stolen pass of the game. Tavares drives, and he's fouled by Jared Martin, who thought he got all ball.
That's his 4th foul, Vic.
4th personal, 8th team foul. Calexico will be, he was in the act of shooting, but it would have been 2 free throws, or no, 1 and 1.
1 and 1, yeah. So
it's not until they get 10 fouls.
7. The 10th foul would be the automatic 2 free throws. He makes this next one, it's a 5-point game, so that's a 2-possession game, so 44 seconds.
A 5-point game with 44.7 seconds remaining.
Yep.
We couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, they're making a little run here.
So 60-45. Caleb Flores brings it in. Pass up court to number 24. Jacob Vargas got behind the pressing defense. Nobody was aware of him, overlooking him, and he gets that easy layup. Foul called on number 10, James Tovar. It'll be a 1 and 1 with 29.3 seconds remaining. Spartans with a 7-point cushion at the line to shoot the first of a 1 and 1. Aiden Carrasco.
That breakaway there for Central, Victor.
Is it a 1 and 1 or 2?
It's a 1 and 1. He wasn't in the act of shooting.
I thought I heard the public address announcer announce 2 shots. And Carrasco off the target. Rebound picked up by Jared Martin. Central gets the ball out quickly, crosses midcourt, and Deion Scanton calls for a timeout with 24 seconds remaining here in the 4th quarter.
I think what happened, I think what Coach was arguing that the scoreboard had 10 team fouls, and that's an automatic 2, but I think it was a dispute there between the scorekeeper and what was happening.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here at Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium, at the line, shooting the first of a 1-and-1, Aiden Carrasco.
So I think what happened, Vic, is that instead of them shooting the automatic 2 for the team fouls, they accidentally did a 1-and-1 and he missed the first one. So I don't know how they're going to correct this, if they're going to put him back on the line shooting 2 or back to a 1-and-1. So we'll see. But he did shoot 1 and missed.
The second of 2 shots.
Yeah, so they're going to go back and correct it and give him the second free throw because of the team fouls that you get 2 after 10 team fouls.
And you know, that's the humility, yet the intelligence and character of the referees.
Yep.
You know,
that's the correct call.
Right.
That's what I like about it. They stopped it and they corrected it.
You know, it's not the old my way or the highway attitude. Alonso Carrasco converts. Carrasco being substituted for by number 22, Marco Trejo, as they want to apply the defensive pressure. Carrasco may have 4 fouls. That's why they don't have him in. They don't want him picking up that 5th foul, and he's no value to them for the remaining 32 seconds of the ball game. Ball almost intercepted by number 22, Marco Trejo, as he makes his presence felt right away in that full court press as Jared Martin was streaking down court trying to get that pass from Caleb Flores. Ball brought into Flores. Flores fouled right away by number 10, Andres Tavares.
Well, it's coming down to that, Victor. 25 seconds left.
It's the 16th foul.
Yeah.
Is that a 1-and-1 or
no,
it's a 7?
It's on the 7.
Carrasco back in the ball game now as Trejo.
And yeah, and they're
did his job as he put that pressure on in the full court press, being the back man. Holding foul called on number 4, Landon Blaisdell, as he tried to fight his way through that screen that was superbly set by Jared Martin. At the line, shooting
1-and-1
the first of a 1-and-1 will be number 10 for the Spartans, James Tovar.
Yeah, I mean,
correction, it's number 11, Caleb Flores.
Yep. So they're going to, so Calexico's down to now where they're going to have to foul every time there's Central has the ball and hope they miss free throws.
Flores misses. Ball knocked out of bounds by, over the back by Jared Martin. No foul called, but it'll be Calexico ball. They have to take the ball the length of the court with 23 seconds remaining. Ball brought into number 4, Landon Blaisdell, as he dribbles across, being hounded by number 10, Tovar. A drive by Tavares, and he scores with that underhand scoop. 62-58. Foul called on number 2, Cesar Castro. They'll be putting number 10, James Tovar, on the line. He'll be shooting the first of a 1-and-1. So it's becoming a battle of free throws, steals, and outstanding play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Calexico here is putting him on the line. He's got to miss these free throws for Calexico to have a chance on the other end. So.
Tovar converts on the first of 2, giving the Spartans a 5-point lead with 10 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter, 63-58. Tovar now at the line to shoot the second. And he hits again. So Calexico bringing the ball up, dribbling, taking up a valuable time. Tavares with a 35-footer and the scores. And that could be the last basket of the ball game as the clock runs out. And the Spartans come into Carl Varner Memorial Gymnasium, a half game out of first place against the Calexico Bulldogs. And they steal one from the Bulldogs here by not giving up, coming back and overcoming a 7-point deficit in the first half to win 64-60.
Great game, Victor. I knew it was going to be a close game, and it was a 64-60. And so You know, I think the big difference here for Calexico, they just missed so many outside shooting and just didn't hit the boards on the offensive side. And then they missed a few layups driving in, but the big key was the missed shots.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more in a minute on Valley Sports Network.
Whether you're looking to purchase or sell, your next home awaits. Give the Dom team a call. With over 50 years of experience and over 100 years in the Imperial Valley, Andy and Doug can help you find the right home at the right price fast. Visit us online at www.thedomteam.com and let Andrew and Doug find the perfect home for you. Call today, 760-337-8600.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valley Sports Network, VSN, in a thrilling victory for the Central Spartans over the hosting Calexico Bulldogs to retake first place here in the Imperial Valley League. Led by the strong play and comeback by the injured Jared Martin, who missed several games for the Central Spartans, but he fueled their comeback. He came into the game averaging 21 points per game, and he had over 25. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Martin, the player of the game.
Ooh, man, it's a long game, man. I'm tired, and I just came off of injury. I thank you for my coaches, man, setting us up for success, and we beat them in our house, and we came over here and just proved that we're the best team in the Valley. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Now, as you guys get ready for the playoffs, which will be starting week after next, what do you look for your players to look for, your teammates, to get them ready for the upcoming playoffs in Division III?
Just focusing on what our coach tells us to do, practicing hard, running, conditioning, just playing together as a unit, how we've been playing, and we just got to translate that into playoffs, and that's all we got to do, and play high-intensive defense, and just do what our coach tells us to do, because he knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he's running our program very well, and I'm glad to be a part of this program.
Now, you're a multi-talented star for the Central Spartans. You have excellent bloodlines. Your grandfather, the late Lefty Martin, I played baseball with him and against him. He was 4 years older than me, but we played semi-pro ball together and what have you. And then your dad and your uncles, everybody has that. But I don't believe any of them played basketball like you play basketball. Which is your favorite sport?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. I like football. I can't say right now. I mean, I'm sophomore, so right now it's kind of tough. But growing up, I've always played baseball, like you said, and then I found a love for basketball. And then just last year was my first year of football. So I mean, I found a love. I love the game. I love all the games, man. I love playing. I love competing. I just love showing out for this amazing crowd we have here, putting on for my city. Yeah, I love playing sports, man. This is what I love to do.
Well, it was a great game. You showed your talent, your skill, your composure. You didn't play as a sophomore. Sophomore means wise and foolish. You played smart, intelligently throughout the game. You looked like you were a college player playing among high school boys. But keep it up. We enjoy watching you play, covering you on VSN in football and now in basketball. And heck, we have 2 more years to be able to call your name out to our viewing audience. So congratulations and good luck the remainder of the season.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Martin, the standout basketball player for the Central Spartans and who led them to victory after missing 3 games due to a high ankle sprain. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap it up at Valley Sports Network. We'd like to thank our sponsors for making this game possible. Also, we'd like to thank Will Torres of VSN, along with Ron Rubio and Mr. Justin Matus, and along with John Moreno and Jose Alejos, and our color commentator, Mike Pacheco. For VSN, this is Vic Carrillo from the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez, all along the border on a Thursday night. It's exciting Imperial Valley basketball. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good evening.